On tonight's episode, we push deep into the bayous of Louisiana to a labyrinth of waterways, cypress trees draped in Spanish moss, and thick, murky channels that truly feel like the edge of the known world. We're venturing into the Honey Island Swamp, a beautiful yet intensely wild preserve in St. Tammany Parish near the Pearl River. This is a place where wildlife is abundant, alligators are kings, and the local folklore is as thick as the swamp air. It's also the purported home of a creature that has terrified Cajuns and hunters for generations, a massive hairy hominid often called the Cajun Sasquatch, or more commonly the Honey Island Swamp Monster. But what truly sets this beast apart from its Pacific Northwest cousin, and other cousins across the country and beyond, is its unique description. A blend of primate and amphibian, and the physical evidence that has been left behind. We'll dive into all the details today, only on this episode of The Daily Strange. Hello everyone and welcome to The Daily Strange, a special October 2025 video per day blitz of the paranormal, focused specifically on cryptids, monsters, and the supernatural. I'm your host, John F. Mers, author, actor, adventurer. The Honey Island Swamp Monster, or Le Bête Noire in Cajun French, is not your average Bigfoot. While it's consistently described as a large bipedal humanoid standing around 7 feet tall and covered in matted grayish-brown hair, it possesses two key characteristics that make it unique among North American cryptids. First are its tracks. Alleged plaster casts of its footprints showcase a peculiar morphology. 4 toes, sometimes described as webbed, a trait not naturally found in primates. Second, like the skunk ape of Florida, it is frequently accompanied by a putrid, horrible odor, described as that of putrefied trash or decaying flesh. These features give it a distinct identity as a creature adapted to a semi-aquatic environment. Local lore offers several compelling, if unverified, explanations for the monster's existence. One of the most popular origin tales traces back to the early 20th century when a circus train allegedly derailed near the swamp on the Pearl River. The story suggests that chimpanzees escaped the wreckage and adapted to the swamp, interbreeding or simply surviving in a way that produced this strange large hominid. While there is no definitive historical record of such a crash creating the monster, the story remains a powerful piece of local culture. A far older piece of folklore is the Letiche, a Cajun and Indigenous tale of a human-like creature, sometimes described as an abandoned child raised by alligators, which aligns with the monster's description and swamp habitat. Kid raised by alligators, that's a bit far-fetched for me. The modern legend of the Honey Island Swamp Monster gained national attention thanks to Harlan E. Ford, a retired air traffic controller who became an avid amateur cryptozoologist. The first major incident was in 1963 when Ford and his friend were hunting in the swamp. They claimed to have spotted a creature on all fours, feeding on an animal carcass. And when it stood up, it was over 7 feet tall, covered in hair, and it possessed striking yellow or amber-colored eyes. The most significant piece of alleged evidence came in 1974. Ford and a friend discovered the carcass of a wild boar near a watering hole that had its throat ripped completely out. Next to the boar were a series of large, unusual tracks pressed into the mud. Ford cast these footprints, and they were later analyzed by zoologists at LSU, who could not conclusively identify the source. The casts clearly showed the creature possessed those peculiar 4, sometimes webbed toes. After Ford's death in 1980, his granddaughter Dana Hollyfield discovered a reel of Super 8 film among his belongings labeled Honey Island Swamp Monster. The grainy footage, now widely analyzed, purportedly shows a large bipedal figure briefly moving in the distance. While inconclusive, the film remains the most cited piece of visual evidence for the creature. Though the peak of sightings was in the 1970s, the mystery persists. The Honey Island swamp is massive, protected, and contains vast areas untouched by humans, providing an ideal habitat for an elusive, undiscovered animal. Recent reports from the 2000s up until the present have swamp tour guides and local fishermen occasionally reporting hearing unexplained vocalizations, guttural calls, and whoops deep within the bayou. There are also sporadic reports of the signature putrid odor near secluded campsites and waterways along the Pearl River, keeping the legend alive for new generations of Louisiana residents and visitors. As usual, the scientific community remains highly skeptical, with some ecologists and other scientists suggesting that the tracks could be forgeries or simply misidentified prints from large known animals in the area, like the black bear. And the odor is most likely naturally occurring methane gas due to the vast amount of decaying plant matter in the swamp. However, the sheer consistency of the physical descriptions, the size, the hair, the smell, and those unique webbed four-toed tracks suggest that something unusual may indeed be lurking in the murky waters of the Honey Island swamp. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of The Daily Strange. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of my new chilling episodes. I will see you all tomorrow for another episode of The Daily Strange. Good night.